Good evening, or afternoon, or good morning. I am Jared Johnson, the Jared J, staying on the topic that I've been on, which is the upcoming National Football League draft, April 24th through the 26th. If you missed the episodes where I talked about some of the quarterback prospects and some of the running back prospects, you can go back and check those out. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the tight end position. Now, my friend and producing partner, Chris Black, knows a thing or two about a team that has a legendary tight end because he is a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So having a great tight end as a weapon in your offense can really bolster things, really make things so much easier on your quarterback. This year's draft class does have some guys that could make immediate impacts. Is there a Brock Bowers in this class? We'll have to wait and see. That young man was phenomenal as a rookie. I expect more out of him, more of the same in years to come. I said that last year. I was like, this guy, one of the best tight ends I've ever seen coming out of college. So let's jump right in. I'm going to talk about three guys primarily today, and then maybe mention a few others. First one I'll talk about seems to be the consensus number one tight end in the draft. And I would also concur with that notion. From Penn State, 6'6", 257-pound, Tyler Warren. Let's see here. As a junior, 422 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. Certainly not bad productivity. As a senior, 104 receptions. That's right, on the college level. 1,233 yards, 8 touchdown receptions. He also had 26 carries for 218 yards and 4 touchdown runs. He threw the ball a few times, and I really do mean a few. 3 for 6 passing for 35 yards and 1 touchdown. So they involved him some in terms of throwing the ball. Not a whole lot. But the guy has the size to be he's a very good blocking tight end. He's got the size. You wouldn't have to bring him off the field on run plays. He probably, wherever he goes, is going to be right away a 3-down starting tight end. One knock against him is, he put up all those yards, but in that offense, Drew Aller just force-fed him the ball. No NFL team, unless what we saw with Brock Bowers last year, most NFL teams aren't going to force-feed a rookie tight end the ball that many times. And that's probably true. But when you look at Tyler Warren, he's basically a younger, bigger, more athletic version of Taysom Hill. Taysom may not be a superstar, but if you've seen the guy play and you know anything about him, he's a heck of a football player. He's a guy that has legitimately played quarterback, tight end, halfback, fullback. He lines up in the slot sometimes. He's a weapon. Tyler Warren, I could see being similar to that on the next level. I just hope whoever drafts him will utilize him and not just say, well, we've got a big guy that can block. Yeah, you do, but you got a lot more than that. He's projected to go in the first round. I think that's very likely. Some of the mock drafts I've seen have Indianapolis taking him. Don't know how I feel about that, but maybe he will help Anthony Richardson, give him a big target over the middle to where he's not throwing into traffic so much down the field. That might actually be better for everybody. I've also seen the Broncos taking Tyler Warren in some mock drafts. My cousin Joel Wheat would probably love that because he's a Broncos fan. Give Bo Nix Tyler Warren as a target. I think Tyler Warren's probably going to have a darn good career. Is he going to be as good as Brock Bowers right away? I don't know. Will he end up having a career on the level of Travis Kelce or Tony Gonzalez? Way too early to tell. I'm not prepared to even speculate on that. I see him more as a younger, bigger, more athletic Taysom Hill. For now, that's really all I can say. But if a team utilizes him properly, I think he could be a serious weapon and make a serious impact right away. Second guy on the list, most people have as their consensus number 2 tight end. 6'5", 245-pound out of Michigan, Colston Loveland. Like Tyler Warren, he's got good size for the position. 2 seasons ago, when they had J.J. McCarthy and they won the national championship, Loveland had 45 receptions, 649 yards, 4 touchdowns. No, those aren't Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren type of numbers, but within the scheme of that offense, that's actually pretty good. If you look at a lot of other tight ends in college, even ones that have gone on to bigger success in the NFL, those numbers are going to compare pretty decently. This past year, 2024, numbers were down a little bit. 56 receptions, which is actually higher. Yardage is a little bit down, 582. 5 touchdowns to 4, so up a little bit there. Still, pretty good productivity. The big thing is he is a pure receiving threat. Some people are projecting him to also go in the first round. It wouldn't entirely shock me because, if Indianapolis takes Tyler Warren, Denver might just take Colston Loveland. So I think wherever either one of those guys go, probably you're looking at a starting 3-down tight end from the get-go. The Chargers are another team. Jim Harbaugh might want, to reunite with Colston Loveland. If they draft him, that might be a good situation there too, especially if they're going to really use him in that offense and really plug him in right away. So both those guys, I think, will probably be pretty darn good even right away. I'm going to keep saying this. I don't know if we have a Brock Bowers in this class or not. I do think both these guys are pretty darn good. There's a few other tight ends that are kind of right outside of that range. There's Mason Taylor from Louisiana State. There's Elijah Arroyo for the Miami Hurricanes. There's Gunnar Helm for the Texas Longhorns. I'm going to talk about a guy that could be the 3rd best tight end in this class, and that's 6'4", 230 pounds from Bowling Green, Harold Fannin Jr. Now, the 2 big knocks on him are he played at Bowling Green. The competition wasn't that serious. I get it. That's legitimate. Also, he's only 230 pounds. There's 2 things I'll say to that. Number 1, the aforementioned Brock Bowers is 6'3", 230 pounds. He's been perfectly fine at that weight, playing the tight end position in the NFL, so it doesn't concern me a whole lot. Also, I just heard a report from the NFL Combine. Harold Fannin Jr. officially weighed in at 241 pounds. So he's already stacked on some weight, hopefully some muscle weight, going into the draft. So I don't think his size is a concern. The level of competition is the only thing that does concern me. But let's take a look at his numbers real quick. As a sophomore, 44 receptions, 623 yards, 6 touchdowns. Also had 14 carries for 41 yards. So right away, the numbers, like I said, pretty good. His numbers as a sophomore are comparable to what Colston Loveland did this past year. I understand the competition is very different. Just stay with me. Harold Fannin did put up some pretty good numbers. This past season as a junior, I'm going to have to take a drink before this one. Have I ever mentioned how much I love Dr. Pepper? Topic within a topic. But Harold Fannin this past season, 117 receptions, 1,555 yards, 10 touchdown receptions, also 9 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. The guy put up massive numbers that I don't really think can be ignored. I completely understand Bowling Green, the level of competition. I'll address that in just a moment. When you put up those kind of numbers, you've got to be able to run routes and get open and catch the ball and do something with it. He did all of that. I think those skills do translate pretty well to the next level. Yes, he's going to be going against NFL defenders. These linebackers in the NFL are going to cover him a heck of a lot better, and so will some of the strong safeties than the people he played against in college. Those are legitimate concerns. And Bowling Green kind of structured their offense around Harold Fannin is our offense. He may not get that in the NFL. In fact, he probably won't. I've heard some comparisons, some people comparing him to Isaiah Likely. Now, some of you may say, well, then why is that something to be excited about? Isaiah Likely is a backup tight end. I hear you, but Isaiah Likely was drafted by a team that already had a solid starting tight end in Mark Andrews, and also Mark Andrews just happened to be Lamar Jackson's favorite target ever since Lamar Jackson was a rookie. If Isaiah Likely was in a different situation, we'd be thinking much differently about him because we've seen what the guy can do when Andrews isn't at 100% health. Isaiah Likely has put up some pretty darn good games when he's gotten the opportunity. So comparing Harold Fannin Jr. to Isaiah Likely, my opinion, that actually is a compliment to Harold Fannin. Much like Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland, I do feel like if Harold Fannin Jr. is drafted by a team in a good situation, he's playing with a really good quarterback, he gets the opportunity, very likely he could be a very good NFL tight end. I'll say the same thing about Mason Taylor. Gunnar Helm probably too. Elijah Arroyo. Any of these guys land in a good situation and they're utilized properly, I think they could all have good NFL careers. I genuinely do. But I chose to talk about Fannin because there's a lot of questions really about him because of the level of competition. I'll say one more thing about his competition level. This past season against Texas A&M, one of their tougher opponents, Bowling Green did lose that game 26-20. Fannin's numbers in that game, 8 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Then against Penn State, who was one of the better teams in the country, had one of the better defenses in the country, Bowling Green loses 34-27. So again, they lost, but a close game. In that game, Harold Fannin Jr. caught 11 passes, 137 yards, and a touchdown. So I know it's a small sample. We don't need to go crazy over it. But in the 2 games of their tougher competition, the young man delivered pretty big numbers. Then in their bowl game, the 68 Ventures Bowl against Arkansas State, not huge competition maybe, but they were good enough to qualify for a bowl game. This was a bowl game. There's a big stage. Seems to be a common theme. Bowling Green did lose by 7 points, 38-31. But in that game, which ended up being Harold Fannin Jr.'s final collegiate game, the young man really left his imprint. 17 receptions, 213 yards, and a touchdown. Is he going to do that right away in the NFL? Heck no. But I think he's got the talent. I think he probably is too strong, so I just don't know. Very likely he could be a pretty darn good tight end in the NFL, even if it takes a little while. You got to look back historically. Some of these really good tight ends, even Tony Gonzalez, it wasn't until about year 3 that we started really seeing that potential. So, Sam Laporta had a great rookie year. Brock Bowers had a phenomenal rookie year. That's simply not how it always goes. So even if it takes Harold Fannin 2 to 3 years, or Mason Taylor, or Elijah Arroyo, or some of these other guys, I think this is a pretty strong draft class. I think a lot of these guys could get opportunities to start right away. And some of them, even if it takes a little while, like I said, could end up being very good, very reliable tight ends one day in the NFL. With Washington, Zach Ertz was pretty good last year. He is getting older. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him come back. Also, I really want to see what Ben Sinnott can do in the NFL. They used a 2nd-round pick on him last year out of Kansas State, and he was barely involved in the offense this past year. So I really want to see what he can do. But I'm not 100% against him drafting Harold Fannin Jr. either if he falls late enough, because guess what? Give Jaden Daniels another weapon to throw to. I might be all right with that. So there's my assessment on this year's tight end class. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you think it's absolutely a joke that Harold Fannin's going to do anything in the NFL because of his competition level, let me know. You think Tyler Warren's better than Brock Bowers? Tell me that too. You think Mason Taylor's better than all of them? Let's discuss it in the comments. Either way, I hope you did enjoy the episode. If you did, please show that by clicking the like button. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It really will help enable me to continue to bring you this type of content, as well as many other types. And sometimes we discuss my favorite team, but sometimes we also talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and Talmadge's Tennessee Titans. Because, we just love football around here and a lot of other things. So I hope y'all have a great week. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. I do hope you have a great week. Drink some Dr. Pepper this week if you think about it, or just do it if you think of me. Have a great week. Your camera didn't freeze. Have a great week. I hope I'll see y'all again real soon.